What does the mark of the beast tell us? We know the verses by heart. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented in the fire and with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. According to the Bible, at the end of time, there will be a mark of the beast crisis. And when that mark of the beast crisis comes to this earth, what is going to happen? Well, there are going to be two groups of people. There's going to be the people who are going to, sadly and unfortunately, receive the mark, whether it be in their forehead or in their hand. They believe in it. They've been deceived in their minds. But there will be also those who could not care as much to understand what the mark of the beast was about, and were deceived how? By just going along with it. You see, this is why it's so important to recognize that knowledge of the truth is not good enough. Do you know that Adam and Eve knew very well that they were not supposed to go into the midst of the garden and even get close to the forbidden tree of which they were forbidden to eat from? They knew, they had the theological understanding of what God expected of them. Adam and Eve are an example of Seventh-day Adventists. I hope we understand that. Adam and Eve are an example of Seventh-day Adventists. The fact that you know what the final crisis is about, you know what the mark of the beast is. You know that the mark of the beast requires you to worship on the seventh-day Sabbath. You have recognized it in your mind. Is that going to be good enough for you to get through the crisis at the end of time? And according to the example that Adam and Eve have given us, the answer is no, because Adam and Eve very well, in like manner, knew what God expected of them. It's not just good enough to tell people about the Sunday law. It's not just good enough to know about the Sunday law. In fact, looking at my limited experience as a Seventh-day Adventist and as a Christian over the past years, the more and more we think we know about the Sunday law, the less and less many of us are actually prepared for the Sunday law crisis. Why? Because in our minds, it all boils down to knowing exactly what the enemy is going to do. Well, first and foremost, Satan's a lot smarter than us, so I can guarantee you that no minister out there who claims to be revealing these secret plans of the enemy knows exactly every step of the enemy ahead. It's not about knowledge. Being ready for the mark of the beast crisis is not a game of chess where you're looking at the Pope or apostate Protestantism and you're looking at what they're doing because you see you've got access to what's going on behind the scenes, and you know they're 5 steps ahead. And because you know they're 5 steps ahead, you will be able to counter that. That's not what and how God's people are going to be prepared for the final crisis. And yet that's what the majority of conservative Seventh-day Adventists grow their faith based upon. They think that the final crisis is about a game of chess. Understanding the steps that the enemy will take in order to deceive us into the future. But that's not it, because Adam and Eve well knew what they should and should not have done. And yet, what happened to them? They still fell. Can you be keeping the Sabbath holy, understanding that worshiping on Sunday is a sin, but yet be violating the first commandment, be an overcomer in the mark of the beast crisis? Can you be breaking the first commandment thinking that you're keeping the fourth get you through the mark of the beast crisis? Absolutely not. Why? Because the Bible tells us here in James 2:10 that in order for you to keep the Sabbath holy and be an overcomer in the mark of the beast crisis, you must not offend in any other point. You must have a perfect character that will not commit any offense in order for you to be successful in the mark of the beast crisis. So can you have the mark of the beast crisis? Can you have this Sunday law ordeal at the end of time and believe that after the close of probation, you will be able to offend in any other point besides that one, besides the fourth commandment? Absolutely not. The Bible is crystal clear. In order for us to be able to be successful in the mark of the beast crisis, we must first and foremost be ready not to offend in even one point. And this is the reason why the mystery of God must be finished in the sounding of the seventh trumpet. Because no human being will be able to go through the time of trouble such as never was before, overcoming the mark of the beast crisis without being ready not to offend, but in one point. In other words, we must be ready to reflect Christ in His final moments, through His grace, of course, so that we can be ready for that crisis.